Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4v4 match on the map Super Bridgehead. My team is starting on the top and I'm playing as the Allies. My next Twitch stream is going to be on Thursday night. I will leave the details in the description. On my Twitch streams I go through a series of quick matches which determines my place on the ranked ladder. So if you're interested in that, check it out. My Twitch name is Zach the Reaper 1. In this game my team's opponents are Commie, Pick My Nose, Happy Believer and Dangery. Now in this game I'm starting right at the back. This means my base is not going to be in danger early on, as my opponents would have to go a long way around to attack me. I've got an ally below me, I've also got two allies to the left of me, so I'm quite enclosed. This does not mean though I should sit back early on. That's about the worst thing I could do, because what I'm going to need to do is give support to my allies. Now the players we're playing against do usually attack quite early on, so I am aware of that. And we can see Cyan there with a substantial amount of infantry. He's got 13 there, so he will be looking to go into the base with that, I think. And he's going forward. And yep, they've all been killed. He's got no kills from that whatsoever. That just shows the importance of sending one infantry out before. So if you have a main force of infantry, what it's quite often good to do is just send one infantry out in front of them, and then they can spot any groups of infantry. And that helps avoid what happened to Cyan there. Now in this position I really should send an infantry in front, but I'm more trying to distract my enemy and keep them focused on me and my infantry going into their base rather than attacking my ally at this point. Because while they're distracted, what I'm doing is I'm building my economy back at my base, and soon I'll be getting tanks out. And you can see there I just lost my infantry there, which is unfortunate. But on the good side, I've got two war factories and they're now going to be producing light tanks. Now what I expect to happen is that our opponents will go into the pink space and try and destroy buildings. Now light tanks will be a much better choice to use to defend against that, because they're very manoeuvrable, so they can chase the enemy down a lot more effectively. And they've also got about the same damage as a medium tank. They do less damage per shot, but they do have a faster fire rate. So in this scenario I would think light tanks would be the more effective ones. They do have low HP, but that's not going to matter if the enemy is attacking buildings and not your tanks. And we can see Cyan there bringing some of his own tanks into the mix. And I'm just placing my second ore refinery down. I'm going to be building more ore refineries and hoping to get that third war factory down. And we can see that Cyan have got into the base and they've already lost two tanks, so that's not very good for Cyan at all. I'll probably go after Cyan and Pink can defend the base, because I think Green are going to be coming in after them. I did see them around. I don't really want to let Cyan into my base. It does look like they're heading to my base and that's not looking good at all. I don't know if Pink will be able to hold on to that war factory, and you can see Cyan's just stopped there. What they might have been doing is luring me away so Green could destroy the base, so that might have been a mistake by me there. I'm just going to place a pillbox down just in case there's any future attacks. You never know, one of the other team might produce a Tanya or something like that. It's certainly happened to me before, where my base is just suddenly being destroyed. Here we can see Cyan launching an attack at the bottom of the base. That's why the medium tanks were stationary. They were coordinating another attack. So I'm going to have to bring my light tanks down very quickly. Good thing that light tanks can move quite fast. It looks like they were able to take out an ore truck, and you can see that Cyan is now falling back due to our overwhelming numbers. We've now got a little bit of a window because Cyan and Green have been attacking our buildings, they've been attacking ore trucks, they've been damaging our economy. What we need to do now is we need to provide a counter-attack, because we should have more tanks than them in theory, because we haven't been losing them to those skirmishes. You can see Blue's given some support. We also need to be aware that Pink have lost their MCV, so they're not going to be able to improve their economy any further, but they still have two war factories, they still have two ore refineries, so they will still be producing tanks. And this, you can see here, there's about two medium tanks from Green, light tanks from Cyan, and light tanks from me. And you can see that Pink are coming into the battle, they've got a sizable force. I'm just going to pull my tanks back so I can fight with Pink, and we should be able to beat them here. Heavy tanks are quite strong, and you can see Pink have also got some infantry. They're probably producing infantry if they can't produce tanks fast enough to keep up with the economy. And I'm just putting down another ore refinery there, and it's looking very, very good for us. And you can see that Cyan, they're not going to win this. I've got more numbers than them, and we've got Pink as well. And you can see that Cyan's falling back. a lot of those tanks on very low HP, and I think we're just shredding them at the moment. So we need to carry our momentum forward. Blue's worried about the crate, but at the time the crucial thing is trying to attack Cyan, because I think we're getting right to his base, and you can see his base is right there, and we should be able to clear him up quite easily here. Cyan hasn't got much left. Green's coming in, but we've got light tanks which are quite manoeuvrable. I'm also getting back building mediums now, and we're just clearing his base up quite nicely. Now what I do notice is his MCV isn't there, and MCV was movable, so I think Cyan has probably moved his MCV to the left, so he's still in the game. He's just going to be starting a bit from scratch, and you can see he's moving his auto truck to the left, which further confirms that he does have his MCV in that direction. Crucially, we're controlling the bottom right of the map now, which gives our opponents less ore to mine. We still have to push forward because we don't know what's happening at the left of the map currently. So we'll need to push that direction, and we can see that Purple, our teammate, has in fact been destroyed by our opponents. So it's now more important than ever that we push forward. It's 4 against 3 at the moment, but remember that Cyan is down for the moment, and it will take him a while to build back up. Now you may have noticed I've been transitioning to medium tanks. The reason I'm transitioning into medium tanks is because I prefer them for tank v tank battles. Medium tanks do have a lot more HP. I think they have 400 HP whereas light tanks only have 350. I'm also getting a radar dome down at the moment because it's very important now that we're losing people to the left of the map. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably try and get through and maybe attack yellow a bit. The reason I want to do that, and you can see yellow's coming back anyway. I think he was coming to help his teammate the green because he sees he's struggling. We're going to have a little battle with yellow at the moment. We can see that yellow has a Tesla coil, so I'm going to try and destroy that power plant, see if I can get him low on power. It doesn't seem to be working so far. I'm probably going to need to pull back actually, because fighting tanks and a Tesla coil at the same time is never a good idea if you're allies. At this point, I think I'm going to refocus my efforts on green, who are struggling at the moment, see if we can get into the base and do some major damage. Green are allies, so they're not going to have any Tesla coils. I think yellow will probably follow me, but I'm not too bothered about that at the moment. Just doing as much damage as possible. It's actually a good thing if yellow are following me, because it means they're not going to 2v1 blue. And I can see on the radar what's going on. At the moment, blue's looking okay. We can see that orange is there, which we haven't really seen much of. And we've got, crucially, now we've got green's MCV, so they're not going to be able to build any more MCVs unless they've built a service depot. And this is looking very, very good for us. We're now destroying the barracks and power plant, just getting rid of the major production buildings. And we can see they do have a war factory, in fact, up there, so they're going to be able to still produce tanks. And speaking of tanks, it looks like my tanks are going to get destroyed here. I've got yellow from one side, green from the other, and it looks like I'm vastly outnumbered, so it's not looking good for me at all here. But the attack was still worth it, considering the large amount of damage I've done to green's base with pink. Green's not going to be able to recover from that, so that's obviously going to put us in a very, very strong position, and I think my team are gaining the upper hand. And speaking of the upper hand, I think we can see that blue are destroying the orange team, so that'll just leave yellow, cyan and green, and cyan and green we know are very compromised. Cyan have had a little bit of time to build back up, but green won't be able to recover from that because obviously they can't build buildings anymore. And I think orange are basically, yeah, they're out of it now. So that's orange down, and we've got 3 to go. So it's 3v3, but we definitely have the upper hand. We can see the yellow have a very, very strong force, but we can see blue has a really good force also. I'm also now on 3 war factories. I was a bit slow getting to that 3rd war factory. I'm building a 4th war factory as well. The reason for that is because I have a lot of ore floating around, and it's no good being in the bank. I want to get it spent and get tanks out on the field. One of the important things in this game is spend the ore you've got. There's no point having it floating in the bank. And as soon as you get an economy that's able to sustain another war factory, get that other war factory built. And speaking of ore, I've just got an ore crate there, which gives us, I think, about 3,000 ore, which is very good for me and my new war factory. And we should see that ore quickly go down now that I've got 4 war factories out. And we're getting some good kills here. You can see we've put our tanks at the other side of the bottleneck, which is making it very hard for yellow to get the ore trucks to the ore. And I think we've destroyed a couple of yellow's ore trucks here, and at the moment it just looks like it's a matter of time before we win this game. These bottlenecks so do make it very, very hard to attack, and I'm going to go from the other side because there's a lot of yellow tanks there, and I think the other bottleneck's probably going to be less guarded. You can see just 4 tanks there from Cyan. Cyan's bringing other tanks in. We can also see the ore's running out, so they're not going to be able to go on for much longer. And this is just quite easy for us here. We can see the yellow bringing their tanks in as well, so it's both Cyan and yellow at the moment. And they're just trying to protect the ore trucks. And we can see green are also coming in, so we've got yellow, we've got Cyan, and we've got green in this last battle going on here. And I do think my allies are going to be preparing to attack from the other side. We can see that pink on the radar are getting a force from the other side of the base. And this is looking very, very good for us. As I say, it's just a matter of time now. And I don't think they're going to be able to just clear up my tanks here. My tanks do seem to be doing very, very well. We can see yellow, I think they were pulling back to the other side of the base there. I think they are now because they see that pink are coming from the other side. And we've just got Cyan and green to deal with right now. I think in this game that we got the upper hand just after Cyan and green attacked Pink's base, because I think although they did some damage to Pink, they got rid of his construction yard, which he needed to. They didn't do that much damage to his other infrastructure buildings. He still had 2 ore refineries and he still had 2 war factories. And what it meant is we were in a very good position for the counter because they'd lost a lot of tanks doing that. And we were able to get the upper hand after that. If you do get attacked and you do lose some buildings at your base, always make sure you do a counter immediately after, because your opponents are going to be in a weakened position. If you or a teammate has lost an MCV, the worst thing you can do is sit back, because the other teams will be able to expand their economies, get more war factories. So yeah, attacking early is definitely the best thing. And you can see it's just green left now. We've got blue coming in, we've got pink coming in as well. So it's just basically a massacre at the moment. And I suspect he'll probably sell up anytime soon. And that was quite a good game. It was very important that we were on the right, we were able to push forward, because we did lose a teammate on the left. And that's the end of that. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.